Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Kloppenberg,
My name is Tracy and Shavaya from New York.
and I am a mom of two. And my cancer diagnosis came when my younger son was 5 months old. And after a few months, I was diagnosed and ultimately started treatment a couple of years ago.
21 years ago, I was diagnosed with early stage breast cancer. And then in 2019, due to the treatment, the chemo, I was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. 2 months after that diagnosis, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer.
I had a mammogram, but it ultimately ruled just to be dense breast tissue. It wasn't until 2.5 years later that I demanded another mammogram. And unfortunately, at that time, it ended up being stage 3 triple positive breast cancer.
I was diagnosed with MS in 2009, and I kind of had to figure my way out back then.
Some people share a lot, and I tend not to, but I was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer back in April of 2020, so in the middle of the pandemic.
It was definitely, I'm a stickler for details. Like, I don't want to just be told, eat more fruits and vegetables. Give me exactly what to do. It was definitely cutting through some of the myths, cutting through the conflicting information, but it was also getting that roadmap of this is how you do it. And even the little nuances, which I always ask you about, and that helped a lot. To have someone to direct me like that. It also helped to have someone explain everything to me, to not just be like, okay, I'm assuming this is all good for me, but now I know exactly why. Traveling, to have someone help me to figure that out. Or, I see this one product, is this good? Is this not good? And to have someone walk me through that was so important. And it really helped a lot, so that I can just go into a restaurant and say, I know what I can get. I know what will work.
When things would pop up, like when I did have some mouth sores, you had a solution for everything that I encountered, whether it was diarrhea, whether it was sores, whether certain lab values dropped or became elevated. You had a nutrition-based, natural, organic way for me to treat it, and it worked. And so then you're hooked. Right. And then you had evidence to back it up.
And they said, diet and exercise won't help at all. And fast forward to 2023, and my doctors are thrilled with my diet and exercise program. Before I started Wholesome, I felt out of control and alone and unsupported. And every day I do different things. This isn't just like you learn nutrition and then you implement it. You keep learning new things every time. And every time I get together in the group community setting, I learned something new.
I felt it was with talking with you that you could give me the right guidance, because my personality is to jump all in. I always liked vegetables. That wasn't the issue. I just happened to like meat. So I said, but let's get rid of the meat and dairy and just jump in. But if I'm jumping in, I want somebody that's got a life preserver that can help me on the side.
Everyone has their own issues. For me, the biggest thing was the nausea. For me, the symptom management was like the number one. And then I think the meal planning is really a great idea just for life, not just for someone who's going through chemo, but just in general. What can I eat that would make me feel good? I think it really helped the health of my whole family. Other than physical, maybe it's getting better sleep. There are a bunch of different ways, but I would say the knock-on effect of influencing not just myself, not just my household, but others around me too.
Every 2 weeks, we would check in. And I think the check-ins are important because things can change, because as many know, chemo has a compounding effect, right? And so as I was going through my treatment, the fasting was working, the food to eat, because the first 7 to 10 days for me, I couldn't eat certain foods, but I needed to get nutrition in me. And you were like, do this, not this. I had a really tough time. And, you made the rainbow in the storm.
I was just at a wedding over the weekend, and when people met me, they just were shocked about how I look, how I act, my physical appearance. I'm 55, and I don't think I've ever been in this good of shape in my life. My cardiologist I saw 2 weeks ago, and he said, you're the healthiest patient I have. I'm playing more sports now than I've ever done. lifting weights, doing yoga, keeping up with my son who's 23. When we go for a walk or play tennis, when they used to be so nervous with me, like, are you okay, Mom? Can you handle it? Now it's like, are you tired? Because I'm not. But just everything else, like certain aches and pains that I used to have, like a bad knee or anything like that, like things kind of disappearing. I think it's the food.
The thing that I love most about it was feeling supported and feeling like Allison gave me more support and information than any of my doctors could have ever given me. And it wasn't just Allison, it was the people in the community too. The biggest thing is I learned how to control the controllables, and not just with nutrition, but with exercise, with sleep, with social, all the pillars of what Allison calls the wholesome lifestyle. I feel more like myself than I have ever. And at 52 years old, I feel much better than I did in my 30s. And I can't even believe it. I have so much more confidence in my body and myself. And also, I'm not afraid to try new things.
One of the bigger impacts of working with you is one that wasn't necessarily expected. We expected the surgery to do it, so I wasn't anticipating when we first talked doing the radiation and chemo, but I am convinced you helped me through that, and my goal was to get through that with very minimal side effects. But I found it very beneficial because not only am I getting your advice, I'm getting advice that we're vetting out and discussing as a group, getting ideas. We have 2 huge, like 4-inch, 5-inch binders at home of whole food, plant-based recipes, of which we maybe make 3 or 4 all the time. And the best part of the group is getting new ideas and somebody saying, hey, have you ever tried this? Have you done that? So I really enjoy the camaraderie of the group and the support of the group. And this is a shout out to any gentlemen listeners out there. You can join up to the group.
100% I would recommend it to somebody who's been diagnosed.
I think anyone going through cancer, whether it's your first time that you're going through it or this is the second and third time,
I think it's for anyone who wants to empower themselves. I think it's for anyone that's saying, I can do better.
everyone deserves to have improved quality of life and feel some sense of control.
You want to do everything in your power to take control and influence your outcome.
I would even tell my 23-year-old to do this so that he learns, because it would be great if someone started from so early of eating the right way. So I don't think it's just for people who have a diagnosis. I think it's for anyone, because prevention, that's even better. And when you empower yourself, it helps a lot because you feel like I'm doing my part. I'm doing what I know can help me also. And so mentally, it makes a huge difference.
Anybody. I mean, you could be a novice like I was, or you could be vegan. There are some of the people in the group who I learned from, who have been doing, who I would consider to be already there, but that's not true. Nobody knows everything. And people are in the program for different reasons. And I noticed that other people who have been doing this for years really enjoy helping the newbies out, which is fantastic. And it makes them feel good too.
Obviously, you have such a strong expertise in cancer. So anybody that has cancer themselves, or a loved one with cancer, or just a history of cancer in their family, is going to benefit by working with you. But again, I believe there's so much compelling information of how a whole food plant-based diet will make you stronger. And by being stronger, whether you have cancer and you need to fight that, or just fight through life to make yourself better, and you know, whether it's heart issues or diabetes or inflammation and any of those. So I think anybody that just wants to be healthier and feel healthier would benefit from it, cancer or no cancer.